You thought exporting medical cannabis globally is impossible? I'm here to tell you that there's a playbook. If you're a licensed producer or a cannabis brand operator and not thinking about medical exports, you're leaving some serious money on the table. So let me show you how to tap into these global markets. My name is Hafez and I'm the CEO at Elevate Wellness. We are a manufacturing facility focused on cannabis 2.0 products, so gummies, vapes, topicals. We help brands and LPs convert their inputs into value-added finished goods. And we've been helping a number of brands break into these export markets because they're being crushed through excise and price compressions that are happening widespread in the Canadian market. And to put this in perspective, 1 gram vape cart that is retailing here for $20 to $30, depending on the type of input, is being retailed around $100 to $130 in markets such as Australia. Same with gummies. A pack of 100 milligram gummies might retail here for, $25, $30, whereas in Australia, you're looking at about $80 to $100. I'm here to tell you how to break into these markets. So the problem in the Canadian cannabis market is everybody's being crushed by excise tax, price compression, the number of SKUs within each category that makes it super saturated and really hard to compete. And when you talk about exports, most founders or operators think that it's a freaking moonshot to get their products out of this market into rapidly growing markets that are just opening up. But the truth is, success in exports boils down to 3 things: your license stack, product stability, and positioning. Get one of them wrong and you'll be bleeding cash. But if you nail them, you have cash hitting your account before you even send the products out. 0 excise, 3-time premium. So number 1 is your license stack. You could either get certified through certifying bodies with GMP certification, EU GMP if you're planning to send it to Europe, or a DEL license, which is a drug establishment license, somewhat equivalent to an EU GMP level for Australia. Number 2, you could partner up with someone who has these licenses in place and would be able to help you get your products, get clearance, and then export it into those destination countries. Third, you can find someone who has an EU GMP certification, would partner up with you. They would send a qualified agent to your facility. For us, we've done both. We have our DEL. We also have direct partners who came into our facility. It was a 3-day process, obviously longer, but on-site audit, we had it for 3 days. They would go over SOPs, sanitation programs, interview staff at different levels to make sure that whatever you claim that you have trained on your staff are actually followed through your staff procedures. And so you have to figure out which option fits for you better. For us, DEL, cannabis containing drug licenses, and then being audited through a direct partner seem to be the easier choice. But if you want a faster time to market, you would find someone who has these licenses in place and then form a partnership to have a win-win. Step 2, product stability. So when you think about exports, your product might hit the shelves 6 to 7 months after it has been produced, simply because it takes a long time for Ministry of Health at whatever jurisdiction you want to import your product to approve the import license. Health Canada takes another 35, 45, 50 days to approve the export license. And then the custom clearance is going to take a long time. And by the time the importing distributor brings the products into the pharmacies and onto the hands of these patients, it might be already 8 months. So you need to make sure that your products are safe and stable. They meet the EU pharmacopoeia, or depending on the jurisdictions, you have to make sure that the regulating body standards are met through your certificate of analysis, stability studies on the packaging, the product, dosage. So it's a long ass process and you want to make sure you have those elements locked in. So to put it in perspective, the gummies that we were doing in Canada, they were shelf stable for about 6 to 8 months. And usually in Canada, you produce it within 2 to 3 months, your inventory is already ran out. So you don't worry typically about those stuff. But when you're thinking about exports, we're like, holy shit, we have to go back to the board, figure out what makes a product stable so we could push this to 12 months. So when you're talking to an importing company or a distributor, they have a sense of assurance that when the products get to them, even if they are met with some hurdles, the products are still holding their integrity. So to simplify, what product stability boils down to is water activity levels, microbial count, contaminants, product integrity in terms of visuals, the efficacy of the product, because again, these products are used as medical products, right? So if you put a 10 milligram gummy and 5 milligram, you want to make sure that by the time that it is prescribed to a patient, the potency is still the same as when it was produced or tested. So product stability, to simplify it, boils down to how long a product could retain its characteristics, water activity levels, microbial count, contaminants, potency levels. But you also need to make sure that the product that is being imported, let's say Australia, higher heat levels, humidity. So these are the type of elements you have to test for to make sure that a gummy that is gelatin based would melt around like 30 something degrees. You put more pectin into it, so you make it more heat resistant. So they have a sense of reassurance that even in hot weathers and hot, humidity environment, the products are still going to retain their integrity. Product market fit. You want to make sure that the product is not just offering vibes because of the top 3 terpenes and the cannabinoid ratio of 5 milligrams THC, 2 milligrams CBN. So my product's going to be very well positioned for sleep. A lot of other players are doing that. You want to go a step beyond that, helping practitioners to put trust in your formulation. Why? Because you can add other natural health product ingredients that otherwise in Canada, even in medical markets, you can't. So you want to fortify your product if it's positioned for sleep. You want to add ashwagandha, melatonin. If it's for some other conditions, vitamin B12 for alertness or magnesium. So there's a host of NHB ingredients, whether they're like adaptogens like ginger extract or functional mushrooms like lion's mane, or isolates like magnesium and other vitamin inputs. So think functionality, not why. Why? Because doctors are looking for clinically proven and scientifically backed evidence. So when you put these ingredients in there, they have a ton of monographs where doctors could easily refer to and be like, okay, this is the safe dosage that I could prescribe for this condition. Think of it as a simplified chart that they could look at the condition and be like, okay, this is the type of dosage I need to prescribe to my patient for the best outcome. So exports isn't a moonshot. Doesn't boil down to luck. It boils down to the stack of licenses that you have in place or the partners in some other ways. Your product stability, so how safe your product is and how long would it last before it hits the shelves. And product positioning. Is your product really positioned for the patient outcomes that you're claiming? So if you want to learn more or simply explore how you can take the first steps, click the link below, book a call, or simply if you have any questions, just comment below or send a direct message to me. I'll be more than happy to hop on a call with you and review anything that you want to learn more about. And if you find this video interesting, feel free to share it with a friend who could use it. So make sure you follow us on LinkedIn, Instagram, and if you enjoy watching these type of videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel and we'll make sure to put more valuable content for you.